What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got a little bit of a different video that I wanted to be bringing to you guys. A video that I've actually been wanting to make a little bit, and that's actually the topic of Dante Exum and how he actually recently just saved his career, which ended up warranting, he did a couple of things which warranted him a 3-year deal with the Houston Rockets. That does give him a contract until 2024. Of course, that will, end when he's 28. The 2022 to 23 season and 23 to 24 season are all non-guaranteed, but nevertheless, on paper, he does have a 3-year contract. Now, how did Dante Exum get this contract? I know some people were definitely asking that when they saw that the Rockets decided to, re-sign him for 3 years. A lot of people were probably like, well, why would they give Exum this contract when he hasn't done anything in so long and hasn't really been good for quite a while? The reason Dante Exum was actually able to get this contract is because Dante Exum slowly but surely and very quietly revived his career in the NBA. You might be like, well, how did he do that when in his last season with the Cleveland Cavaliers, he only played 6 games, and in those 6 games, he only averaged 4 points. Basically, here's how the timeline kind of goes. Dante Exum, he started his career off with the Utah Jazz, played around 5 seasons with them, and then was eventually traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers when they were able to get back Alec Burks, and the Cavaliers kind of just took on Dante Exum because he had a pretty bad contract of around, I believe, $9 million to $11 million. Now, Dante Exum, when he got to Cleveland, was already known as a bust in the NBA. He was actually really highly scouted and talked upon when coming into the NBA as someone who can be a really nice dude for the Utah Jazz. Of course, he did come from Australia, and at the time, there were a couple of really good players coming out of Australia. Of course, we saw that Kyrie Irving was actually born in Australia. Even though he only spent a couple years there, he was from Australia. We saw that, Joe Ingles was doing alright, Patty Mills was coming into it, Andrew Bogut was a really well-known Australian player, and of course the team decided to take the chance and see if a player like Dante Exum from Australia could convert over into the NBA. Unfortunately, Dante Exum did not. He really struggled in his 5 seasons with, Utah, with his 3rd season kind of being his best, where he only played 14 games. A lot of the time miss was due to injury. He did actually score 8.1 points per game that season in around 17 minutes while putting up okay defense. Once he was eventually traded to Cleveland though, he was already kind of touted to be a bust. He only ended up playing 24 games for them in his 1st season because of course he struggled with injuries yet again. But in that season he showed a glimmering hope that a lot of fans thought, hey, maybe this guy could be a right player. Because he actually did something he'd never done before and actually shot well from the 3-point line, where he shot 35%. Then, in his next season, not too much hopes were too high for Dante Exum, as he did have some good 3-point percentage, but wasn't overall that great. Although, in his next season with the Cavaliers actually had a really, really strong start. And although it does say that Dante Exum, in his 6 games that he played, in the 20 minutes that he did play, although it did say that, in the 20 minutes per game, his stats weren't exactly that great, of 4 points and 3 assists, he actually was a really, really nice player, for the Cavaliers. Again, at 2.2 assists rather, and 3 rebounds. He actually did a lot of really nice things, and the Cavaliers were actually winning at the start of the season. Dante Exum was one of the reasons they were winning. He was supplying really, really good defense. He was actually being a really nice leader and kind of looked like a veteran on the court for the Cavaliers and really was just the ultimate role player. He came in and did what the Cavaliers needed him to do, which was supply good defense. And that's what he actually really did well. And of course, give Garland a rest and, play some backup point guard minutes. But then of course, the big issue happened where Dante Exum would yet again re-injure himself and would not step on the court for the Cavaliers again. Once Dante Exum's injury, happened, the Cavaliers had a couple other injuries here and there, and they really started to slow down, losing a lot of defense, and it really did hurt them seeing, Dante Exum kind of go. So, it was a pretty big issue. But then the Cavaliers decided to do some things. They actually traded for Jarrett Allen and Taurean Prince in kind of this 3-4 team trade thing, where Dante Exum was actually a you know, kind of a part of it. He was there for salary, you know, kind of matchup. And he was actually sent to the Houston Rockets, where he was expected to play some minutes for them and see that maybe he could warrant himself an extension. Unfortunately for him, even though he had a good start with the Cavaliers but a lot of injuries, he would not step on the court for the Houston Rockets, as of course injuries would yet again hurt his, you know, kind of year, and he, yeah, just couldn't end up making it back. It looked like Dante Exum's career was finished in the NBA. He didn't really have anything else going for him, and the Houston Rockets did not look keen to really re-sign him at all, considering he never even played a game for them. But actually, a couple of things would then go and happen. Dante Exum would work himself back and actually get off the injuries and apply for the Australian team. He ended up actually getting picked for the Australian team, and with big star point guard Ben Simmons actually not deciding to play for them, they needed some help, you know, with the point guard / guard position, and Dante Exum was there to help. Dante actually came into the Australian team and did a couple of things that they've already, you know, always been known for. The Australian team has been known for being a really good defensive team, while also, you know, just being a real grit and grind type of style as well. Dante Exum, he really worked well with that. In fact, some people actually said he was one of the best defenders in the whole entire Olympics, which is really crazy considering he was playing on the same team with Matisse Thybulle. I swear was averaging like 100 blocks per game. Dante Exum would not only revive his career because of the Australian basketball team, but actually would get himself a 3-year contract back in the NBA, all because he filled his role. He went from a dude that was called the biggest bust, one of the biggest busts in the game, to actually showing some signs of the Cavs, getting injured, but then coming out and representing his country and putting up really good defense, and ended up actually getting a 3-year contract. Defense wasn't the only thing he did well. His 3-point percentage looked much silkier, and it just looked like he had a better stroke overall, and it looked like it started to go down a little bit more. He also actually playmaked a little bit more as well, with the Australian team even deciding to actually put Dante Exum on the court sometimes over Matthew Dellavedova because they thought Exum had actually passed him in playmaking. That's how good Exum was playing, because Dally's been known to be a pretty good playmaker for quite a while, and the Australian team picked Dante Exum over him a couple times. Dante Exum, again, what he did was well. He represented his country, put up some really nice defense, improved his 3-point shot, and then playmaked a little bit better, and ended up getting himself a 3-year contract in the NBA. Now, if you're a Houston Rockets fan, I definitely think you should be very much looking forward to watching Exum play. Look, he can be a very annoying player. He doesn't really have an offensive bone in his body. Honestly, he did do a couple of really nice dunks and a couple of real nice layups, but don't expect this dude to create his shot. He did all of those stuff for the Australian team, and yes, again, he did dunks and nice layups, but he's not going to create his own shot. He will still be streaky in the NBA, most likely from the 3-point line, but hopefully he just improves in that on the off-season and eventually comes back nice. But again, if you're a Rockets fan, don't expect him to create his own shot. Don't expect him to have consistent 3-point percentage or even a mid-range for that at all. Just expect this dude to come in and put in some nice defense, and your expectations should be succeeded. Because that's what Dante Exum's going to do for this team. And I think Dante Exum is a lot more valuable for this Rockets team than what people think. Considering that they're losing John Wall now, and Kevin Porter Jr. is going to be their main point guard, they don't really have a backup point guard, you know, anymore. And I think that was one of the reasons they kind of drove them to get him. Of course, I believe, you know, DJ Augustine's still kind of chilling on the Rockets right now, but I doubt that will be for much longer at all. I don't even know if he'll play much minutes for him. I'm surprised they haven't traded him already. But I think Dante Exum, considering this is a very young team, could actually supply something very nice. And that's, again, a dude who should be entering his prime, coming off the bench, and should hopefully, for once, stay healthy and play some backup point guard minutes. But again, I still do have concerns. Injuries is a big one. The lack of shot creating / a 3-point shot / a mid-range, I guess, is a pretty big concern. But hey, if your sole purpose is to bring him in for defense and just to play a role that is defending, Dante Exum is going to be able to do that. So if you're a Houston Rockets fan, get excited, because he's actually a solid role player that I definitely think could actually do something. But if he doesn't, that will most likely be towards, you know, due to injuries, which would absolutely suck to be, you know, to see his career kind of be struck down because of injuries. But hey, he's revived his career, and this might be a final chance to actually do something in the NBA. If not, he'll probably get waived and he'll have to go, you know, sign with an Australian basketball team. You know, and that will just be, I don't think, the thing that he wants to do. Again, I'm sure he'd love to play in Australia, but I'm sure he'd love to play in the NBA more. But of course, if you haven't already, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for all the latest NBA content and NBA news. Don't forget to subscribe to my gaming channel, EmmaIro/LongChannels if you haven't already. Of course, I will be linking them in the description down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my podcast channel as well. If you haven't already, that will also be linked in the description down below. But of course, just give me your thoughts and opinions. Do you guys think Dante Exum will be good for the Houston Rockets? Do you guys believe that he has revived his career? Can he come back and actually play some good basketball? Of course, I would very much like to know. But as I was saying, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.